Alright guys, we're going to work on the Willis system on a Willie bag, a 7, a 2, and a 1. So slowly I'm going to show you these. Joe's going to go in slow. 7 is going to be a jab. So bam. And then he's going to come back with a right hook and then a left hook. And that's a 7, a 2, and a 1. And you'll see us starting off, and then you'll see me cleaning this thing up as we go along. We'll have a little video here and clean up session if we need it, as far as hands up or whatever. But what I want you to do is move off to a side when you complete this. And bear in mind with me, guys, I always tell you before we start to doing the paddle or pool noodles or something like that, I'm real old, so it's very difficult for me. So, okay. I messed it up. Okay. There we go. Again. There we go. So we're going to clean this up a little bit. And now notice the 7 and the 2 and the 1. The 2 and the 1 should actually be hooks, which would be a right hook and then a left hook up to the chin or the head area. Keep in mind, I'm going a little lower, and it's because I can't get my hands up this high. And if I go up higher with it, it's going to jar my shoulders. And I have a plate attached to my spine about this big, maybe about that big, on the front of my spinal cord here, so I don't want to hurt myself. Now, Joe, when you're coming over on this side, I notice when you complete the combo, you're coming over here, you got both your hands up. When you're coming over here, we got a left that's being dropped. We a little bit too much. And if you run up on somebody that can take your mess, they're gonna, and if they're trained well, they're gonna try to hit you when you're going over there. So you have got to protect that side of your head. So 7, 2, 1, and then come over here maybe. There you go, that's better. Just get it real quickened up. Boom, boom. There you go. There you go. And you notice you'll hear some sliding. We slide a lot. A lot of people say you can't do that. Now, but damn, you can't do that. And depending upon the ring canvas conditions, you might want to learn how to do that. Even if you're, just doing the light step. We move heavier on our feet than other people, so that's a little bit by design. It was a lot by design. So there's different ways of doing things. Somebody hear a foot going and they'll say, well, I hear that foot. Like you can't do that, and you most certainly sure can. And that's where the scope of the person's limited. So we'll do it again. You can come off to this side now if you want to. Okay. Okay. Alright guys, we're going to go with a, you're going to come out the 5 and the 6, or how you going to do it?
I thought it was...
That's opposite, but I mean 6 and a 5. So you want to start with a 6. Alright. Now we'll try to hold this good. You know what? I'm going to hold with just one.
I'll go light on it then.
And you just go when you want to go, where you want to go.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to get you to double up with 2 right hooks. So it'll be 2 6s. Now I'm going to try to hold this. There you go. That's it. Just watch this left.
Keep it up, yes.
Yeah, you're dropping it a little bit. You're still safe. And I don't want to take anything away from you, but I'm always going to be with the hands, right?
Yes.
I've been this way the whole time. I've been doing this to him for so many years, it ain't funny. And he's just 17. There you go. You're going to have times where maybe you're chicken winging something and, you know, you're kind of like this or like this, coming back on something, you know, like, wow. But we try to watch and stay significant with what we're doing. Now, I pet peeve about the left hand all the time, and it's because I see guys dropping their left all over the boxing world today. Now, back in my day and before my day with Joe Louis, you'll see some things where they got some drop lefts too, but they're bending. It was just a different way of fighting, and they had different people in front of them. Joe Louis would drop down, and he'd have the left drop more like this, but see, he'd take a step in and eat you up with great combinations. He was the combination king. Still is in my book. There you go, that's good. You want to do the other one?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'm just this hard, a little harder for me on my, with my left here. Okay, so you got to be working on these things. All right, guys, we're going to show you some bicep, forearm work, and then some push-ups will be mixed in here. Maybe he'll do them at the end, or he'll do them between the sets. We'll see what happens here. He's got free reign to do them how he so chooses. I always do a push with a pull. Not always, but most of the time. We got the posse over there in the park. There's about 10, 12 cops, and so we always get nervous when these damn people come around and everything gets more dangerous for foreigners. Pieces of pure shit. They're even lower than the general population here in Colombia, South America. Pieces of trash. They'll have to do like they did in El Salvador and put half of them in the supermax prisons first, and then go after the population. You'll see one of the that's the police car going by there. So we always do a push and a pull. So another one went by there. Or do a push with a pull. In other words, on the same day. In the same session, if you're going to have multiple sessions in a day. And we believe in working the body here, and this is how he does the curls there, or the forearm work. When we get back, I believe we're going to have an excellent gym to go to. And, well, I think he's going to mix them up today and put the push-ups right in his thing. And he'll do more push-ups than he does anything else. And notice he'll do 20 or 25 here probably. So we mix it up a little bit, and there's a boatload of other stuff we do. We've been choosing to, well, I always show reflex bag, but we're showing reflex bag and some pad work here and there now, and doing some pull noodle work. And but you got to be working. This sport will carry you places you never thought if you've got the work rate. And it's a sport you really got to commit to. If you are committing to be a good student and a good amateur boxer, chances are you'll be a great student and a great amateur boxer. Then if you move on up through and maybe you go Olympic trials, maybe you get in the Olympics, and maybe you move on and keep doing schooling while you're fighting. In a lot of cases you can almost pay you can pay your way through school. You always got some downtime in boxing. If you're just going in the gym and going through the motions there and not working your body, you know, just getting down with everybody else and doing 50 push-ups or something, this ain't going to carry you too far. If you're doing, you know, going in the gym and going through the motions and getting some good sparring and technicals and everything else involved there, and you're working your body 2.5, 3 hours a day as well, getting the cardio, running, rope work. We do a lot of dumbbell work, calisthenics. This thing will carry you anywhere you want to go. And you need to be watching boxing too. And the best way to watch boxing is if you can watch it and then watch it again. First time you watch it, listen to the announcers, or vice versa in this. The second time, listen to the announcers, but one time listen to it on silent mode where you're showing, what you're seeing is matching up with what they're saying. You're going to find out at a bare minimum, 60% of the time what the announcers are saying is not what you're seeing in the ring exactly. I say this all the time, they come up with so many terms, but they're not terms in the technology of boxing. They'll be watching the same fight you're seeing on TV, and they'll make a term up for what one of the fighters are doing, and I sat there and I'm like, well, what in the hell are they talking about? And then the other half of the time you sit there and you watch, and they're telling you that fighter A is beating fighter B, but what you're seeing with your own eyes is fighter B beating fighter A. And that's part of how a fight gets set up. Teddy Atlas talks about all these go-rounds of how they fix a lot of this boxing. And one of the bigger things is they'll tell the pay-per-view crowd, hey, you know, this guy's winning, when he's actually not. And when you see the points coming out, how the announcers are saying it, you generally got one judge, the points will be right, and the other two judges, they won't be. And it'll be for the guy that's been set up to win. And there's a whole host of other things and ways that they do this as well. And you've got 5 million boxing channels online, and they, you know, I don't mean this ugly or nothing, but you got a lot of boxing channels, they'll sit back and talk about pay-per-views for 2.5 hours. You know, well, this fighter sold 323,000 pay-per-views. This fighter in his last fight sold 90,000. And that's how they compare boxing and greatness, and it's just beyond me. And of course, the main part of the sport is money, and you got to make it, but these ring walks and this music and this mess, and it's just unbelievable. And folks, I'm here to let you know right now, boxing is ran, announced, and ring announced from within a ring, introductory announcers. The vast majority of them hate Christians for some reason or another. Well, you can figure out the reason if you open your eyes a little bit, and you know who the sport's ran by. And that's really at the highest level of it, in my humble opinion. And then you got the promoters you have to deal with. They're not typically Christian haters or leftist woke lunatics, but you have to deal with them. Then on top of that, you have to deal with what you got to deal with in the amateur ranks now, which is total wokeism. You go in there, you got a fighter, he beats the snot out of the other guy, and off of feelings, they want to give it to the guy they feel sorry for that totally lost. And men actually being able to get in the ring and fight women and all sorts of things. So there is a racket to this thing, and you need to be prepared for it and be thinking about it. You got a lot of local promoters. They are above board, especially in England. In England, there's a lot of above board stuff going on there. You get over to the United States and other countries, and there's a lot, and especially Latin America, and there's a lot of finagling going on. One finagling that come to Joe and I right off, we just heard today that Canelo Alvarez will be fighting in Billy, and I can't remember his first name. And we were sitting there thinking, I believe that the people that are promoting Alvarez are promoting Billy. And the guy who really should have got the shot at Canelo, if he was going to continue fighting, which turns out he is, at 168 and a half here, super middleweight, it should have been the Martinez guy that Billy fought and drew with. They had a draw. There was supposed to be a rematch with them two, and if you don't know that fight, you can go look on, if you can get on Netflix, it was the underfight of the Crawford-Canelo fight. But you should go watch that. That was a very good fight. That was the best fighting with Bud Crawford and then Billy and Martinez. And but that got scratched, and that got scratched just to that was a draw in Billy and Martinez. So they kicked Martinez to the wayside, and Bud Crawford's guy, who because Crawford's the one that was promoting or managing, whatever you want to call it, kicked him to the side and going to put Billy up to make millions of dollars with Canelo. And of course, it's really going to be to make Canelo Alvarez millions of dollars. So, and that Billy Martinez rematch that we were supposed to have could have been made any card to true boxing fans that watch this sport, could have drove up the pay-per-views and all this stuff, and even made the top guys more money. And then Billy and Martinez could have made a good, huge chunk of change, because that's the fight everybody wanted to see that watched the Canelo and Crawford fight, because it was such an exciting fight between Billy on that card and Martinez. That's the fight we all would have wanted to see, but the finagling's going on for Canelo, and I'm not bashing Canelo here. You got a lot of these guys, they bash one another, a lot of bad stuff going on with them and stuff like that. Did you see who the guy was walking behind our neighbor? Go look outside, make sure she's all right, at least to the corner.
Yeah.
All right, I think the guy's okay too, I just wanted to make sure.
I had no idea who the lady was.
Oh, the lady and the little girl was our next, yeah.
They got actually slowed down.
Oh, he did? Okay, good. He's not up to nothing then. Always looking out, there's muggings that go on right outside this door every day, stabbings, all sorts of stuff. Oh yeah, you know, and you hear people that grew up in the Bronx in the 70s and how bad it was. It's that bad, or probably a lot worse here than it was there. So Joe's going to be right up in prime of growing up in a lot of hell around him. The advantage he's got is the structure he has with us and within me and him.
I was just gonna say, I don't know how those places were back in those days.
Well, that's it was called Brownsville. Joe, was the neighborhood, part of Bronx or Harlem, and it was a bad area. And two guys that grew up there, one of them was Mike Tyson, Mitch Green, who you know, and who was the other guy? Riddick Bowe, that you're friends with on Facebook, that talks to you. So those guys were had come up through there, and many more, because those streets were rough. And you've been in these streets, and you've fought in them. Being an American out of place on these streets, so You know, when you hear all these guys like, well, this guy come up, you know, in a good residential neighborhood, and he don't have the drive and the kick in him, the rah in him, like these other guys had that grew up in these real bad neighborhoods. And I'm like, boy, them guys that grew up in them real bad neighborhoods, I have a thing or two to learn about what you grew up in, because this has been worse for you. At times, but just like they grew up, Riddick Bowe and Mike Tyson and these other guys, they weren't in hell from the moment they woke up to the moment they went to sleep. It's just sporadically things would happen where they lived or on their street. And that's what goes on here. But it's probably more sporadic here because it's about every damn day. Multiple times a day. Yeah, like Joe just said, a few times a day. So, and Joe's had to fight. Right out there at that park you see in that background. And I ain't talking about mincemeat. Joe ain't gonna go after people that are smaller than him or nothing like that. And they're definitely not gonna go after him, but the last damn guy you beat the shit out of was this tall, you know, big old looking hoss, just damn tall. And what'd you hit him with, a left? Straight left? And
Barely a right.
Oh, well, the right. He hit him with a right cross, and that kid was all over in fantasy land.
It's interesting. I was only...
Man was all over in fantasy land, fucking around with a 16-year-old at the time kid. Maybe he's just turned 17.
It's always stupid people that are twice my size.
Yeah. And that's who you enjoy beating up.
They're big.
Yeah. Yeah, folks, and even the psychology in this sport, the way outsiders look into it, and even the way a lot of people in it look into it. Joe likes fighting a big guy like this. He likes going after a 250 or 60 pounder at 190 or maybe 200 pounds. He's lighter now. He's probably about 185 now. But it's easy. He's the quick guy, and he's got a punch like they got. And way worse than they got, as a matter of factly. So it's a lot of stuff going on here in boxing per se, but even out here on the street, it's applied to a fight. And one thing I'm going to mention real quick. They say don't use a high guard in a street fight. Now, one person's got a hold of this and everybody's dragging on with it. A high guard can mean a couple of different things. You don't want a high guard and be holding these fists real close to you in a street fight, because there's going to be some wailing and stuff going on. However, you don't want to fight like this. My suggestion has always been keep his hands out like this. And when you, bam, come in with something, you can come back with something else and be moving, you know. And that's what Joe co-cocked that giant out there, and he done moved about 5 or 6 times, but not backwards. He was all around him. You want to keep going, we'll go. And the giant wisely backed the hell on up, you know. That's where it was going to go. But fighting ain't good. You don't need to be doing it, and it don't need to be happening. People need to be behaving themselves in this world. What you got right now?
I got 85.
You done with the curls?
Yes.
Okay. And so he's going to finish up with the push-ups here. But you want to be around people. You want to live around people that are good people, people that know how to love their neighbor, and you need to be knowing how to love your neighbor. And loving your neighbor does not mean con jobbing your neighbor or lying, cheating, or stealing from them or causing violence to your neighbor. You don't need to be doing that. But you need to be man enough where if it's going on in your neighborhood that you can be one of the people that can stand up. And of course nowadays it's about coming to where you can't even defend yourself or you go to jail. If you don't stand there and let somebody kill you, whack you off the planet, then you, but you can't, you need to take your chances in court. I tell everybody every day, I even tell these cops over here, be careful with me, because how it's going to work out is I'll always take my chances in court. That's where I take my chances out. On the street, up at the shopping mall, up where somebody can literally take me off the face of the earth, I'm not taking my chances there. And it just seems awful foolish for the man that would. And so, anyway, so be strong out there and stay protected. But we want to tell you we love you. We want to tell you Christ is King, Lord, and Savior up in here. And we hope He is up in where you are. And if He's not, we hope He soon will be. And we'll be back to the U.S. soon, and we're going to bust wide open there. We're going to have a lot of more calm. I believe I know the gym we're going to be going to. It's going to be a world of difference for us, getting back home and getting back into the swing of things. So much love to you guys, and we'll see you with something else soon. I'll cut this off shortly here when Joe's done. I think he's going to get 100 of these bad boys.
150.
150, so he's going to keep going. So, and he got them. So 3 sets of the, did you do 3 sets of the curls and the forearms?
Yes.
So he did that. It's easy Monday here. Easy Monday. You got to get in, break yourself back into the week. Need to let your body heal up on the weekends. You gotta give some recuperation time here and there as well. Other than that, we're almost, it's like we're in a training camp 360 in the year. And we hope to inspire others. And when you get back, we'll be inspiring you, because I've been around this thing for decade after decade after decade. I've seen them come and I've seen them go. And Joe's got something special. And what it is a dedication to this sport. So you guys hang out, keep watching, and you'll see great things happening. And we love you guys, and we'll see you with something else tomorrow.